What stage are you in terms of education? What are you? Grade 11. Grade 11? Grade 12. Grade 12? Grade 11. 10. So 10, 11 and 12 grades high school. And they're called the Avanti String Quartet, which means forward, Avanti. I'll tell you, while they're getting ready, I'll tell you a very funny story. There was an Italian captain in the war, and he got his troops all excited, and he gave a speech. He came out of the trench, and he said to the soldati, "Soldati, avanti per la patria, per Garibaldi." And he gave this great speech, and then he drew his sword, and he said, "Avanti, soldati," and he ran forward, and all the soldiers in the trench said, "Bravo, capitano, bravo." That was not the intention. Okay, Haydn. Very good. Can you just move that? Well done. This is a very, very difficult string quartet. It's one of the most difficult ones. And you're doing really, really well with it. I'm really very interested to know how many of you are thinking of, not necessarily decided, but thinking of being professional musicians. Are you thinking of being a professional musician? Good. Are you? You're not sure? Probably not. You? No. Right. No. Right. Great. Now, that's exactly what I would have said. Listening to the quartet, there's one member of this quartet who's made a decision, a profound decision, to take himself and his cello playing extremely seriously. And it's a hard path for you to go on, but I'm convinced you're right about it. That you have the manner, the seriousness, the accomplishment to be a professional musician. And it's a very, very hard task. And it's something that I don't think you have any idea what is asked of you to do that. I think the three of you who have not decided to go that are very wise, because what you can do is continue to enjoy music as a pastime, which is a beautiful thing to do. And that doesn't mean you don't play on a very high level, because you can play on a very high level and still be doing something else. The decision to be a professional musician is a very tough one. I want to read you something. I just think I just have time. Just hold this. If you just wait a second, I have something I want to read you. This is a new book. The original book we wrote is called The Art of Possibility. This is a book by Roz, the very lady I told you about. And of course now, can I find it? Yes, I can. This is the story of Shackleton, the person who went out to the Antarctica, discovered the Antarctica. You know about that? Yeah. And he put out a notice to get people to go with him, but he only wanted people of a particular kind of character, and so he was looking for the best. Right? And this is what he put out in his advertisement. Men wanted for hazardous journey, small wages, bitter cold, long months of complete darkness, constant danger, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition only in case of success. That was the advertisement. That's for you. So she goes on. We can view Shackleton's proposed venture as a game of exploration with clearly stated parameters likely to draw only the most fearless amongst men. Pulling no punches, the ad was an all-out challenge to commit. And that's what's needed for anybody who sets out on this task of being a professional musician. But I watched you while you were playing, and I said, yep, he can do that. And I wish you all the courage in the world. The story is a grim story. They were on the journey for 2 years, and they underwent unbelievable hardships. I mean, nothing comparable to what you're going to go through in the music business, but August 6, 1914, they set out. By August 1916, 2 years later, nearly 22 months after the initial departure of the Endurance, Shackleton himself returned in a seaworthy boat to rescue the men on Elephant Island, though they had suffered injury, infection, hypothermia, attacks by an elephant seal, near starvation, and unspeakable conditions. Not one member of the original 28-man crew was lost. How was that possible? We have meager clues, but one stands out. Shackleton remained consistently positive in his outlook, and he forbade the expression of negativity or despair. Optimism is the true moral courage, he declared, and he led his men accordingly. If we think of the journey of the endurance as an engagement similar to a game, the instructions were, commit to life wholeheartedly with every fiber of your being in your speaking and your actions. So that's for everybody. I mean, that's the model, is fantastic. It goes on a long time. I'll read you the very last chapter. And this is addressed to you, but it's actually addressed to all of them. In all likelihood, Sir Ernest Shackleton did not perceive the voyage of the Endurance as a game in any trivial sense, but his continued good spirits and openness to both adventure and risk certainly would have qualified him as being game. When the expedition came to an end, he wrote, this is what he wrote, "We had suffered, starved, and triumphed, groveled down, yet grasped at glory, grown bigger in the bigness of the whole. We had seen God in his splendors, heard the text that nature renders. We had reached the naked soul of man." So that's the journey, and it's a beautiful thing to do, and it's terrific strain. What I think all of you can do is raise the level of your playing so that it's up to the challenges of this music. And at the moment, you're holding back from that, and there's a certain frustration as a result of that. So I like the tempo, but it doesn't lilt. Can you just do this again alone, this figure alone? Right, just do that, just do that, right up into to the G and no further. Good, beautiful. Don't hit the G, it's just the top of the phrase. 1 and 2. Beautiful. Just do it again and make it still more beautiful, still more. Every note sung. 1, 2. Good. Try not to attack the G. It's just the top. Just do that. No, you're still D because you have lots of bow. That's better. Again, the same thing. 1 and 2. Oh, that was beautiful. Was that beautiful? That was lovely. Great. Now, let's add the rest of you to that. 1, 2, 3, 2. Good. Stop. That's all we're doing at the moment. We're going to make this beautiful, like a jewel. Do it one more time alone, and then we're going to add them. 1, 2. Can you get this figure? Dom, B, dom, B, dom, B. If you did it up, down, da, da, dee, da. Just try it up, down once. Yeah, maybe your bowing is good. Dom, B, da, da, bom, B, da, da, dee. Good. Do that together with the cello. 1, 2. Isn't that odd? Because the D should change. Dim, bom, ba. It should go dim, bom, ba, but it doesn't. So on the third D, it's going to be a scrunch with her, isn't it? So you have to make some intensity on that. Just do the two of you. 2. Right. You see, she's gone up to the E. D, da, da, da. You play your E and play your D. Right. Play that. Make it alive between you. It's a dissonance. Yeah, scrunch. Do it again, right? And you might actually look at each other. Do you like him? Yeah, yeah. You don't look at each other much. Do it again.
Just a little.
Yeah, just the same thing. Come a little closer. Sorry, you're on the book. Sorry. Yeah, okay. 1, 2. Can you feel dom ba da ti? Just do the E again against your D. Yeah. Do you like that sound? You like the two notes together? So play as if you love it. 1 and no, I actually meant the whole phrase. 1 and so she goes up and you go down. Dee da da dee, and you go dee da da da. Do it again. 1, 2. Beautiful. Now let's add the second violin. 1, 2. Good. Could you do the two of you together and make it absolutely even, the second violin and the cello? Yeah, that's a little anemic. Whoa, Bobby. Yeah, don't be a second violin. Don't be. Once again, don't be a second violin. Play full. 1 and. Oh, that was beautiful. That's gorgeous. Now let the three of you. 1 and 2. And let's add the second violin. You think that's enough, wouldn't you? You wouldn't need any more, but there's one more voice. 1, 2. That's so beautiful. You go down to the low note and then that's such a gorgeous thing to do. Make more of it. Make as though it's something very special. It's coming once again. 1 and 2. Can you make the A really beautiful? Because the A is the first sound that people hear. It's like you meet somebody for the first time and you go, oh, wow, beautiful. 1, 2. Oh, so beautiful. Was that beautiful? That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Yeah. That is working on a string quartet. That's what it's like. You work on it bar by bar, voice by voice, phrase by phrase, until it's perfect. And anything less is not enough for these great works. And that's a shock to realize that you can't just play it. It has to be played, and we haven't mastered it yet. We're on the way. For one thing, it's not a joyful thing for you. I want to do one thing for you. You know, there's a famous string quartet. I'll just tell the story. I know this is going to make me late by 5 minutes, but it's worth it. Maybe not. There's a violist called Eugene Lehner, who was a great friend and somebody I revered very much. He played in the Polish string quartet. And the Polish string quartet played everything from memory, the entire repertoire. They played the first performances of Bartók and Berg and Webern and Schoenberg, everything from memory. Can you imagine? And he told me every single concert there was a mistake of some kind or another. And one day they were playing Opus 95 of Beethoven, which has, in the slow movement, a big viola solo. And at that moment, his brain blanked out and he forgot what to play. And the second violinist played it. It's that passage in the slow movement. And the second violinist played it. The first violinist, Kolisch, and the cellist, Benner Heifetz, had their eyes closed and didn't realize. Right? Now imagine when they came off stage, Lehner said to the second violinist, "How did you know?" And he said, "Well, I could see your finger was on the wrong string." Oh, she's yawning. I thought she had her mouth. She went, like that. Well, it's amazing to think, because oh, I've broken my glasses. What a pity. Can you mend those? So anyway, just imagine what the second violinist had to do. He had to look over at Lena and say, thank you. He'd say, oh my God, his finger's on the wrong string. He must have forgotten. I'd better play it, and I better make it sound like a viola so that my colleagues won't notice. That's a kind of a miracle of attention. So can you get very close to each other? You don't even move because you have your stick there. Even closer. Great. Even closer. All right, now, play that first phrase. Can you turn a little bit so you're there? There we go. Now. Okay, now play that first phrase together and be aware of each other's sound. Right? Enough. Big improvement. Right. Could you smile? Do it one last time. Now imagine as you walk out of here, a bus is going to pass by and run you all down. And then we can send a note to your parents and saying, we're really, really sorry your children were lost in this accident, but you should have heard them play the first bar of the Haydn Quartet. It was so beautiful. All righty, here we go. Thank you. Wonderful. Well done. That applause, I tell you what that applause is. That applause is for hard work, for seriousness of purpose, for caring, for listening, for wanting it to be great. And that's why they're clapping the way they're clapping. They're clapping for 1 bar or 2 bars or 3 bars of music. And what they're really saying is, we respect you for being willing to work that hard and care that much. And that, if you can take that into your life, whether you become musicians or not, if you take it into the music, that'll be your career, working like that, a bar at a time. If you become a scientist or in some other field, you will have learned something by being a musician that is not available to anybody who has not been on that path. So this is a kind of a celebration today of what music can do for people. And there isn't anybody in this room who's resisting, except maybe somebody has a diabetic attack, but otherwise, even the little ones, they all get it about music, about great music, and about what a privilege it is to be involved in what we're involved in. What a joy, what an unending source of love and inclusiveness and community. And I'll tell you something, in the other world, the world without music, you have dis-ease, which is why so many people get ill, because it's disease. And what this music, Haydn and Bach and Beethoven give us is access to health, spiritual health. And I encourage all of you to follow this path that way with this kind of dedication. And the rewards are enormous. And I want to thank you all. Look at the whole community is turned out here. It's something very special. And Andrew, thank you for what you've done to bring this whole thing, to make it all happen, by getting in your car and driving for 9 hours to Boston and then coming again and bringing and encouraging me and enrolling me and being here. It's been a privilege, real privilege to be here. Thank you all very much. Beautiful. Well done. Beautiful. Well done. Thank you. Beautiful. What a wonderful day. Beautiful. It's all music. And it's all great. Look at these beautiful faces. I want a photograph of all these people. Fun. Did you have a good time? Your eyes are shining. You were the leader. You're doing great.
Can I just quickly?
You can have whatever you want. Yes.
When we do a thing called a selfie.
Yes, absolutely. Shining eyes, you see, that's why we do it. Beautiful. All the best. Yeah. More shining eyes. Beautiful. Did you have a good time?
Yes.
Yeah, it's exciting, wasn't it? All those different things. Did you know that?